everybody. So this is a question that I get a lot from my students as well for videos on tutorials. So this one is going to be a very simple paper box. I actually use this quite a bit when I am crafting. If I'm using beads and they're bouncing all over the place and I happen to not be anywhere where I can grab a bowl or some other container, then I'll just make one of these real quick from a piece of paper. So this is just a one-sided box. It's very simple, very easy, and it can be done with a rectangular paper or any really shape or size, square, rectangle, or other. But I just grab a basic computer paper because that's usually what people have at home. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fold this in half, both hot dog style, as we tell my kids, and hamburger style, which means long and skinny and short and fat. I'm going to touch one edge to the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this paper over, and before I fold it, I'm going to roll it into place and make this edge and this edge flush, which means right up against each other. And then I'm going to hold that in place with my fingers, and with my thumbs, I'm going to go to the bottom of the paper, and from the middle out, I'm going to make a nice sharp fold. Once I do that, I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to go the opposite direction, again, bending the paper over, rolling it into place, and getting that as flush and in line as I can. And then from the middle, as I'm holding it, make a nice sharp fold and open that up. So I've got this nice little target kind of thing going on. If you want a long and skinny one, you go with the long skinny side. If you want a short fat one, you go with the short fat side. I think I'm going to go with the short fat side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these flat edges and I'm going to match them to the middle, right along that fold line, which is why I did that in the first place. These ones are to match it for another purpose. So what I'm going to do here is to make sure everything's on the straight and narrow. I'm going to make sure everything's lined up. This does not have to be super, super precise, but it does help it if it is a little bit more taken care of. Now what I'm going to do to finish this box off, and it's almost finished at this point, it's very simple. I'm going to take these corners up and I'm going to roll them so that this flat edge is parallel, which means basically pointing the same direction as this edge. And I'm going to leave maybe about, I don't know, like a finger worth. It's about a half an inch. And let me zoom in and I'll show you exactly what's going on here. Let me let that focus for a minute. There we go. So I'm just bending this edge over so that there's a little lip of paper left. If you're a little nervous about it, I'd leave about a half inch, which is about my adult fingernail on my pointer finger. So I'm going to make that little triangle, and I'm going to do that on all four corners. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to bend this up, roll it over, leave about the same amount of space there, flip this over, same thing on all four corners, and I will zoom out again in a little bit to show you what's going on with this. And then one more time here. Fold that corner over, roll it into place, push it down, and then make a nice sharp fold. So now I've got this little guy going on. I've got this little gap here, and this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. So what I'm going to do, and it's not that hard, I'm going to take this and I'm going to very gently, starting in the middle, fold it over, and if it's not quite pretty, that's okay, and basically catch those triangles underneath it on both sides. So I'm going to flip this over, starting in the middle, bend that down. And it does help for me to hold those down with my thumbs, bend it over, catch the end of those triangles in that little fold. So now I've got this thing going on, and this box is basically done at this point. I know it doesn't look like a box yet, but this is basically done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak my fingers up underneath these triangles and pop this up, and that's the side of my box. So in order to get it to stay, I'm going to take these corners and I'm just going to, let's let that autofocus. My camera does not do that automatically all the time. All right, so I've got this. Let me show you one more time while it's focused. If this is flat, I'm popping this up, and then right along the side of that triangle, I'm going to go ahead and fold that down. So if I pop it up and it's not quite where it needs to be, I'm just going to make a fold there all around all four corners. So if I see that line, that would be a great place to have a fold. Turn this around. That would be another great place to have a fold. So now it's pretty much done. If that's giving you fits, you can always take this and on the side, kind of line that up and give it another fold, train it to have a sharp corner. And there we go. So then I will just throw my beads or whatever else in there, and then I have this nice little box. That shape will change depending on which way you go, and either way, it's going to work. If you wanted a lid, you could just make another one and put it right on top. If you have any questions, just let me know, but that's a nice, quick, little, simple paper box.